In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make a very simple muzzle flash using Windows Movie Maker. First, import the clip that you're going to be editing. Once you've imported the clip, drag it down into the timeline and expand it. This is the clip that we're going to be using. Now all you have to do is go back and find out at exactly which frames you're taking the shots. This is one of the frames. On the right, you'll see two buttons. One is Take Picture, and the other one is Cut Clip. Select the Take Picture button. This will save a screenshot of the movie as a file. Now split the clip. Now you have two separate clips from the first one. Do the same thing for the second gunshot. For the next part of the tutorial, you're going to need an image editing program. Photoshop or Fireworks will work fine. Now that you're in Photoshop, which is the program that I'm going to be using for this tutorial, open up the two screenshots that you took from the video. For the sake of time, I'm only going to demonstrate this effect on one of the images. Select the muzzle flash image and then drag it into the screenshot that you took. Now that you have the image of the muzzle flash inside the screenshot, you need to transform it so that it lines up with the barrel of the gun. Use the transform tool to rotate and scale it. When you're happy with the result, click enter. To create motion in your muzzle flash, select the smudge tool, then select one of the rough brushes. Then smudge the edges of the muzzle flash outwards. Now, select the layer with the muzzle flash image and copy it. Take the copied layer and move it under the first one. Transform this layer that you just made and make it slightly bigger than the original muzzle flash. Now, change the opacity. Change it to about 70 and change the other muzzle flash opacity to about 90. If there are still some dark edges around the muzzle flash, take your eraser tool and erase the edges of the appropriate layer. Now create a new layer over the background. Select the paint bucket tool, select a warm orange or yellow color, and then paint bucket over the entire layer. When you've done that, change the opacity of the layer. Make it very faint, somewhere around 10%. While you still have the layer selected, go to the top and select Layer, Layer Style, Blending Mode. A new window should appear. In this window, there is a bar. If you click on it, it will give you all the different blending modes that you can use. Select Soft Light. This will help it blend better into the background and become less noticeable. For this next part, use the same color that you used for the previous layer, select a large brush with a feathered edge, and make the opacity of the brush low. When a muzzle flash occurs, everything else in the scene is lit up for a split second. For this part, you're going to have to decide by yourself where the highlights are supposed to occur. For my picture, the highlights are going to occur in the gun, the background, and the hand. With that in mind, go over every one of those items with a very faint layer of orange. This will make it appear as if the gunshot is actually lighting up the entire room. If you make a mistake, don't worry too much, because you can always change the opacity of the layer. For this next part, you're going to be editing the background image. Just in case something goes wrong, create a copy of it and work with that. Now, select the Dodge tool. And just like the previous layer, where you highlighted all the areas that you think would have been affected by the muzzle flash, you're going to do the same. Using the dodge tool, it will make it look like the light from the gunshot is actually very bright and affecting every other image in the background. Make the dodge brush large and weak. That way you can go over a larger area to create subtle light. For other areas, you're going to make the brush smaller and make the dodge lighter. That way, it will make it look like the little details are standing out more. When you're finished and happy with the result, go to Layer, Merge Visible. This will merge all the layers that you are using. Then, save the image file. Now go back into Windows Movie Maker. Import the file that you've just saved. Now remember how previously you took the clip and you cut it into 3 separate clips. Now here's the trick. What you're going to do is that in between the 2 clips, you're going to insert the picture for a split second. How this effect works is that when somebody is watching it, they'll be watching the actual clip, and then for half a second, they'll see the muzzle flash. With added sound, it'll look very realistic. Now that you've put the picture between the 2 clips, it's still too big, so it has to be resized. Select the timeline cursor and put it just as little as you possibly can after the image file. Now, go to the top and select Clip, Set End Trim Point. This will make the picture half a second or so. Now you can clearly see how the image flashes for a split second in the middle of the 2 clips. After you're finished and you're happy with what you have, save the movie file by going to File, Save Movie File.